Okay, hello everyone. Hold on 1 second. I'm Nigel Carlton. The 5 people who watch this video, after watching this, you're gonna know my top 20 tracks of 2011. I'm gonna have to read these off pretty quickly because, you know, it's 20 tracks. At number 20, I put Wildfire by Subtract featuring the lead singer Little Dragon. I thought overall this was just like a really soulful track, really funky. I love the production of it. It's just perfect as far as production goes. The basses are really nice, and the high ends are very nice as well. At number 19, I have Bloom by Radiohead. The King of Limbs was not my favorite album of the year, definitely. But I felt like Bloom was probably the best track from that. They're getting into looping, which is, you know, obviously very big in 2010 as well as 2011. Overall, I thought that track really displayed their ability to add like a Radiohead element to looping. It's like picture Animal Collective trying to be Radiohead. Number 18, I have Last Night at the Jetty by Panda Bear. This track technically came out last year, but it was mixed by Noah himself. And this year it's produced by Sonic Boom. I remember reading that Panda Bear on that album in particular, he got a lot of influence from Nirvana. So you have like Picture Person Pitch was actually composed on a guitar and with real instruments, all original by Panda Bear. It captures that the same emotion as Person Pitch, but it's cool knowing that he's able to compose all of it on his own and not just, you know, get from samples. Number 17, I have Judges by Colin Stetson. For those who don't know, Colin Stetson is a Canadian saxophonist who really uses his instrument to basically create the sound of a full band, but by just using the sounds from the saxophone. That track in particular features him singing through his saxophone. Creates this really eerie sound. I remember hearing that track and just being blown away. It's all live too. There's no looping or anything, so that was a really impressive track from Colin Stetson. Number 16, I have Jamie Marie by Girls. That's how the album ends. It's just Christopher Owens playing the guitar. It's kind of a depressing track, and up at the end, he adds all this instrumentation. It makes it feel like a song by the band. Number 15, I have Natalia's Song by Zombie. I thought this was my favorite track from Dedication. It's really melodic. It's probably the longest track on Dedication, and it's probably the best as well. Number 14, I have Claudia Lewis by M83. Probably the most 80s track on that entire album, but I absolutely love it. The slap bass in the second verse, you kind of laugh when you first hear it. I was really impressed with the melody. I was really impressed with the instrumentation. It just shows that Gonzalez really grew on the electronic influence that he had in earlier albums like For the Don Heels and stuff like that. Number 13, Free Press and Curl by Shabazz Palaces. Instantly, I was amazed by this track, just by like how strange the beat was. All the beats on this album are very strange, and I really like his flow on that song and on that album in general. It's kind of withdrawn, but at the same time, you know that he's speaking from the heart. There's a lot of like emotion in his vocals. Number 12, I have Jesus Fever by Kurt Vile, and I really, that's probably my favorite song from that album. It's just so well written. I feel like the melody, like the chord progression in that song is just really original. Displayed some of the best acoustic music from 2011. Number 11, I have Fall Creek Boys Choir by James Blake / Bon Iver. It's like really an original song, and it's really classic James Blake. It's classic Bon Iver, but it's something about it, the way it builds. It's captivating and it's interesting, and I really like that track. Hearing it on vinyl with my subwoofer that was an experience. Number 10, Keep Your Heart by TV on the Radio. It's just an emotional song, it's an emotional album, and that the falsetto at the end is just incredible. I love that. Number 9, Hell Broke Loose, Tom Waits. Oh my god. If you haven't heard this song and you're a Tom Waits fan, you must hear it. Because it's classic Tom Waits. It's basically just beat poetry, but he, on this album in particular, brought in almost like hip-hop production almost. And this song just is about a soldier who's returning from Iraq and his experience, and it's just like it's so scary. It's a frightening song. Number 8, I have Helplessness Blues by Fleet Foxes. This was probably one of the most emotional songs of the year. The lyrics on it are really, it relates to me at this point in my life where I'm not sure what I want to do, I'm not sure what I want to make of myself, and I feel like that's a message that a lot of us can relate to. And yeah, I just like the production. I like everything about it. It's a great song. Number 7, I have Otis by Jay-Z and Kanye West. At first I wasn't all that interested in it. Something about the way the The beat loops where it loops. It's very unusual, and I don't understand why this was a single from that album. Some of the things they say on this song are so funny, I actually kind of found myself laughing out loud. I got 5 passports, I'm never going to jail. Holocene at number 6 by Bon Iver. Oh my god, such a sad song. But at the same time, the way it builds and the melody over these really just pretty distant drums and like really pretty guitar work is always from Bon Iver. Probably the best track on his self-titled album. Yeah, that's definitely a song that will stick with me. Number 5, Cruel by St. Vincent. I was never really a big fan of St. Vincent until this album. I think that's kind of the theme of 2011, going back to artists' previous work, and you know, getting into that based off the newer stuff. But Cruel really is, it's just a great song. It features, you know, a really great melody and probably the best guitar solo of 2011. If you haven't heard that song, definitely check that one out. Alright, number 4, Sleep Dealer, Oh No Tricks Point Never. Talk about a song that really is not a song in any way. So the reason I think I like this track is because Lopatin samples, but it's not just a consistent loop all the way through. He moves things around. He plays with, you know, effects as well as, you know, adding sounds, and it really creates almost like a living experience, not just a robotic, you know, here's the loop, here's where it begins, here's where it ends. He sampled, from what I understand, he sampled 80s infomercials, 80s commercials. Really makes an interesting sound. If you're looking for an interesting sonic experience, Sleep Dealer is probably one of the most interesting and probably the best experience you'll have in 2011. Okay, top 3. Intro by M83. But when I heard the song, I almost cried. It's just how beautiful it is. The intro where the drums come in and he says, "Carry on." I feel like I'm watching the Neverending Story or something. It's just so beautiful. Number 2 and number 1 are tracks that I keep on flip-flopping in my mind, but I think at the end of the day I know which one belongs where. Number 2, Midnight City by M83. I think overall on this album it's probably one of the shining stars. Gonzalez he gets kudos for really taking his electronic sound that he's had before and building on it, and making something as awesome as Midnight City. Okay, number 1. For those who know me personally, this is not going to be a surprise. Ice Cream by Battles. You compare Glass Drop to Mirrored, this one is the most like Mirrored. The vocalist on there, I cannot pronounce his name, Matthias Aguiar, I don't know. His vocals on this track are very much like Tanya Braxton's vocals from Mirrored. It's acting almost like an instrument. The lyrics are kind of just mumbled, and it's out there just kind of like a rhythmic, like melodic thing that goes over this crazy carnival like loop that Ian Williams creates. Actually, when I saw them live, he actually creates it with his guitar, you know, going through Ableton, and that's the way that the track speeds up and changes suddenly. And it's just really just a jamming song. It's really, if you're in a car and you're listening to it, it's very hard not to just kind of jump up and down to the track. So there you go. That was not great. Okay, it's my first time ever making a video like this. Dylan's gonna make fun of me. Mickey's gonna make fun of me. Robert's probably not gonna even watch it. Yep, he's not gonna watch it. But that's my top 20 tracks 2011. I'm gonna have one more video coming up here pretty soon. Maybe a couple more. Who knows? If you guys like this stuff, I'll make more. But that's my top 20. Boost.